In a rare and electrifying sit-down, Paul Mescal and Jessie Buckley opened up about their deeply emotional, unpredictable, and often exhilarating experiences while working on their new film Hamnet, which officially premieres in theaters on November 26. From the very first moments, the pair radiated the kind of creative chemistry and mutual respect that only comes from navigating intense artistic terrain together under the guidance of two cinematic giants, Chloé Zhao and Steven Spielberg. But it wasn't all seriousness and Shakespearean drama. In fact, the conversation began with laughter when they recounted the infamous chaos of sharing the screen with a very uncooperative hawk. As the film begins, the audience is met with a striking scene involving Jessie and the hawk, a moment that required rigorous preparation, including real falconry training. Jessie admitted that despite all her effort, the hawk simply refused to cooperate once cameras rolled. She described standing in the woods, trying her best to embody a woman completely at home with nature, only to have the hawk sit on its perch, stare at her, and, according to Jessie, laugh in her face. The entire crew waited for the bird to land where it needed to, but it never did. And when Paul Mescal stepped in to try his luck, the hawk ignored him too, proving it didn't discriminate in who it refused to work with. Jessie joked that she should have told the truth from the start. The hawk wasn't laughing at her alone. It was laughing at both of them. But beyond the animal outtakes and set mishaps, the film contains some of the most emotionally charged scenes of Paul's career, including one where he utters one of the most iconic lines ever written by William Shakespeare, "To die, to sleep, perchance to dream." Paul revealed that he was relieved he didn't have to recite the line in the typical context of performing the actual play. Instead, in Hamnet, he speaks the words in a private, vulnerable moment, not as a performance, but as the internal musings of a man deciding whether he wants to continue living. Jessie, visibly moved even recalling the scene, told Paul she still loses her breath every time she watches it. To her, the performance is staggering, raw, intimate, and unforgettable. The admiration didn't flow only one way. Paul used the moment to express his awe for Jessie's work in the film. He described her performance as beyond categorization, something that transcends any award season hype or Hollywood trend. According to him, Jessie's portrayal of Agnes, a character both mythical and deeply human, should be studied in drama schools. He talked about watching her transform, crack open, and reconstruct herself all within a single take, calling it absolutely bananas. He believes Jessie's entire body of work deserves academic attention. But with Hamnet, she reaches a new summit, one that blends maternal depth, spiritual intuition, and emotional volatility in ways he believes no other actor could. Jessie spoke passionately about portraying a mother whose emotional, intuitive, and spiritual presence expands far beyond what most cinematic depictions attempt. Playing such a fiercely complex and enormous woman helped her tap into something she feels many people forget. Mothers are vast. Their emotional, creative, and psychic capacities are often underestimated or simplified. For Jessie, stepping into this role allowed her to explore the limitless possibilities of womanhood, motherhood, and human intuition. She believes the real Agnes must have been extraordinarily powerful, because without a woman like her, Shakespeare could never have written the heroines that stand today as pillars of literary history. As for working under the direction of Chloé Zhao, Jessie described the experience as grounding and liberating. She said Chloé watches actors with a gaze filled with unconditional love, a gaze that says, "You're safe, go wherever you need to go." Paul echoed this, saying acting can feel embarrassing or exposed when an actor doesn't feel supported. But with Chloé, and with Jessie by his side, he always felt safe. That sense of safety allowed both actors to dig deeper than they even knew they could. The conversation shifted as Paul shared his excitement about his next massive undertaking, portraying Paul McCartney in the upcoming 4-part Beatles biopic. The project is already being compared to something on the scale of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, given its ambitious scope and the decision to tell each Beatles story in its own film. When asked whether the movies would be filmed back-to-back, Paul confirmed they had just begun shooting and described the experience as the privilege of a lifetime. What makes it even more surreal for him is the extraordinary access they have been given, not only to the music catalog, but also to the Beatles' estates, including personal insights from McCartney himself. Paul admitted that sometimes he finds himself talking casually with Paul McCartney, only to internally scream, "I can't believe this is happening. I am talking to Paul McCartney." The blessing and support of the real McCartney, he said, is something he will never fully wrap his mind around. Another layer of excitement comes from the casting of Saoirse Ronan as Linda McCartney. When asked what makes her perfect for the role, Paul laughed and said, "It's Saoirse Ronan. When is she not perfect?" The two have worked together before and remain very close friends, so the opportunity to reunite on such a meaningful project is thrilling for him. He believes Saoirse will bring the perfect blend of warmth, independence, strength, and artistic sensitivity that defined Linda. Meanwhile, Jessie is preparing for her next major role in The Bride, a wildly different cinematic experience from Hamnet. In this new project, she steps into the provocative, electric, and boldly reimagined world of Maggie Gyllenhaal, who directs the film. Jessie joked that she feels like an honorary Gyllenhaal now, having worked with Maggie, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Peter Sarsgaard at different points. Working with Maggie, she said, is like being plugged into a live wire, creative, punk, unpredictable, and exhilarating. Jessie cherishes every project Maggie invites her into, seeing each one as a portal into a bigger, stranger, and more beautiful creative universe. The discussion eventually returned to the giants behind Hamnet, especially the powerful partnership between Chloé Zhao and Steven Spielberg, who champions the film from behind the scenes. Jessie described their dynamic as the most gorgeous relationship, a blend of mentorship, admiration, and mutual respect. Seeing Spielberg support Chloé as one of the new masters of cinema was profoundly moving, she said. Spielberg's belief in Chloé's vision, his desire to ensure her films continue shaping the cinematic landscape, and his commitment to protecting the art of storytelling all contribute to an energy on set that is both humbling and inspiring. Paul agreed, saying Spielberg is the grandfather of cinema, a man who built the foundation on which the modern film world stands. For Spielberg to invest his passion into preserving theatrical filmmaking and uplifting new auteurs like Chloé is not only meaningful but essential to the future of movies. Jessie spoke about how beautiful it is to witness Steven's adoration for Chloé, not as a power dynamic, but as a profound recognition, an older legend acknowledging a younger one. Their conversation drifted through themes of legacy, storytelling, maternal strength, artistic risk, and the unpredictable beauty of filmmaking. From the stubborn hawk in the woods to the impossible pressure of reciting Shakespeare's most iconic words, from portraying one of history's most influential mothers to becoming part of an ambitious Beatles cinematic universe, Paul Mescal and Jessie Buckley offered a rich, emotional, and surprisingly intimate look into the worlds they've been building on screen. By the end, what stood out most wasn't just their talent, it was their generosity toward one another, their mutual admiration, and their shared belief that cinema, even in an age of algorithms and franchises, still has the power to shape, heal, and transform.